Hey, it's Michael Saulbutt. Everybody calls me Tiny, so you can too. And this video is the Dow's affair with 20K, plus updates, 2 new stocks, and who's going to win Super Bowl 51. This is for the week of February 6th, 2017. Yes, that's right. I am going to give you the Super Bowl winner. And not to be anticlimactic, but for the past 8 years, I have gotten the Super Bowl pick wrong. Yeah, I am pretty terrible with the Super Bowl picks, but this year, why do I think I'm going to get it right? Well, you got to have confidence, so I'm going to put that confidence on to this Super Bowl play. So look, I'd much rather analyze the market than try to pick a football game because at least you have charts with the market. And I know there are a lot of people that use statistics for the NFL and the college and whatever else and any sport, but come on, huh? All right, so let's talk about the Dow first. And what do I mean by the affair with 20K? Well, we broke out. I thought we were going to break out. I've been saying it in the video, and I didn't think it was going to stick. For a couple of days it did, then it came back down. But this wasn't a trap. Now, if you join my daily email list at attackthemarkets.com, I send commentary about every day. Sometimes I'll skip a day, especially if the market really didn't do anything the day before. But I talked about how everybody was blaming Trump for this little pullback. First of all, this little pullback, no big deal. Now, I could say that in hindsight because we're right back above 20K, but I said it in the email. I said, look, this is not a technically damaging pullback. All we did was come back into this consolidation. Now, there are multiple reasons why this could have happened. Maybe it was Trump and the immigration policy and everybody getting nervous, but I doubt it. I mean, all Trump is doing is following through on his campaign promises. I don't want to be political here or anything like that, but I mean, if you really do the analysis on what's going on, is basically Trump's entire campaign was that he was going to make waves. Well, he's making waves. So the market really isn't reacting that terribly to it. All right, we were over 20K. We pulled back. We haven't had a deep pullback. And this wasn't a deep pullback either, but we haven't had a deep pullback since the election. Okay, the biggest pullback was this one previously. Now maybe it's this one. I mean, it's not even worth measuring. Point is, this is just orderly. Okay, the VIX, we talked about that last week in the video, how that had been down to multi-year lows for, only been down here a couple of times over the past 10 or 15 years, whatever it was. It's irrelevant. Point is, it was very low, and that got a little reversion back up. I mean, it only got up to 13, so it's not like it was spiking with huge signs of volatility. And then look what it did Wednesday. It came right back down and then had the reversal here. I mean, so it's hanging around low numbers, which means volatility is still on the low side. And volatility is mean reverting, which means periods of low volatility are followed by periods of high volatility and vice versa in order to get the mean or the average. So anyway, let's go back to the Dow. So after pulling back here, all right, the 20 EMA, you could say, well, it went below the 20 EMA, but 20 EMA is a shorter term moving average. You see it slices through it. All right, you see like even here when it was moving higher, it slices through it on the pullbacks. So it came down, never broke the 50-day moving average. And as we'll look at the other indices, I think the Russell did, but the point is, there was no technical damage here. All it did was go back into this consolidation, and then Friday, job numbers, boom, back over 20,000. Now, the one thing I said on the email, on my email, is I don't like using the Dow for market analysis. I'm using it now because it's such in play because of 20K, but really the Dow, in my opinion, is not a good index to use. It's certainly not a leading index. It's 30 stocks. That's not going to represent the market. All right. It's a media darling. It's great to quote the big numbers and all that, but you really have to look at the S&P. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to ETFs now. This was what's called a mini coil. I talked about this in Friday morning's email. We did get released to the upside. See if it can keep going here and get up above this 230. Could this head to 250? I had a question. Yeah, it could. I mean, if this gets going into another leg to the upside, but I'm going to give my opinion on what I think is going to go on in the market in a second. But yeah, 250 is a possible target. Here's the NASDAQ. coiling up again underneath its recent highs. The Russell, okay, the Russell's lagging a bit, but when you can see it did close below the 50-day moving average, but it didn't close above these last lows. And look at this pattern. I mean, this is a gorgeous flag pattern. Now, of course, it's all artwork until it gets confirmation. So let it break. See if this could go. Watch if this can go to 140. Here's the mid caps acting stronger than the Russell. All right, see if this could get going as well. So my opinion on the market remains that I do not think the 20K break is going to stick and lead to a brand new leg higher. That is still my opinion. However, I have to see a trap. So if we're using the Dow, I have to see us close below this level here. I have to see us come up and slice through the range to the downside. And then, of course, even if I'm looking to get short, I have to have my stops. You could either use a stop right back to the low of the consolidation, but I kind of like to use the middle of the consolidation as well. So right now, there is nothing showing my opinion being the correct one. But that's why you use charts, and that's why you wait for freaking signals. Okay? Yes, I think 20,000 will fail, but maybe we just scream higher, and maybe the SPY does go to 250, and maybe we go to 23,000 or whatever it is on the Dow. Great. Okay? Look to get on board a flag pattern or consolidation breakout. All right? Just because I just want to make sure I'm clear on this, just because I have an opinion that 20,000 will fail, I still need a trigger to get in. Now, this confirms a trap if we break below this low. The aggressive way to get in is now it had 20,000 the first time. Now it's back over 20,000. You can look to see if it breaks back below 20,000 for an aggressive short with a stop above 20,000. Now, it's a little tough to do that intraday when you're sitting there going, 19,999, let's get short, and let's put a stop at 20,001. No, that's too tight. But if you're looking for swing trading and you see that this break fails, all right, then you look to enter with a stop above the pivot where it failed from. So let's say it turns on, I'm not saying it's going to, but just an example, it turns from here. You could put your stop above this high or above this high if it turns here and you're looking at short below 20,000, okay? Right now, the trend is up, okay? So that's why I'm not sitting here pounding my fist on the desk saying this is going to fail. It's ridiculous. It's absolute insanity, okay? The bears are out there talking about how terrible the market is, how Trump is going to be the worst thing, whatever excuse they want to do, that's fine. But the trend is up. Just because I have the opinion that 20K fails, I got to see it happen. All right, let's look at some indices because I know we're almost at 10 minutes and I want to talk about everything else, the updates and everything else. So semiconductors acting well. Banks, okay, still consolidating here, but they still look like they want to try to move. Let's do semiconductors first since we already talked about them. NVIDIA. Okay, watch that for a try for the highs. I thought there was a chance it could fail. Talked about this in my email too, but I gave this level as a failure level down here. I didn't think it was a short up here or anything like that. But now it looks like it may be wanting to move to the highs. Let's look at like an advanced micro. Tested the high, but did push down off it. So watch this. This could be what's called a 2B top up here. A turtle soup. Sell. Kind of watch that. Intel. Okay, this is an example of a turtle soup, okay, or of a 2B top, came up, popped into the high, put the doji, and is now pulling back. Excuse me. Clad tanker, possible little 2B top here. 1, 2, 3, also possible turtle soup, 4 days in between. Got to watch that as well. All right, now let's look at some banks. Bank of America. All right, we had this pattern. See, I always keep my trend lines going so we can reference. But you see, it broke out, came back, then tried to go. But this is right here, another coil. So let's see. Goodness, I'm not going to spend 15 minutes trying to move these around, but basically is you got another coil here. Then you got Citigroup lagging a little bit. Then you got JP Morgan looking to try to go to the highs. Then you got Bank of New York. All right, so here's Bank of New York. It's not really a flag because you could say this was an impulse, but overall it's just in this big kind of range. I mean, look, if this is a head and shoulders, it's already made its target. 2 points, a little 2.5 points down. Yeah, so it's made its target there. So let's see what that does. Then you got Northern Trust, still consolidating, and Zion looks okay, but the banking index got a pop for these consolidation trades to have their wind at their back. Goldman with a huge day on Friday. All right, we talked about this in the video, how it came back to the middle of the consolidation. Nice little short there, but didn't go far. Friday, we're right back into key resistance, which is the middle of the consolidation. See if it turns again or it can keep going. Here's the, whoops, sorry about that. Here's the XBD breaking out. Morgan, okay, acting stronger than Goldman here. All right, what about like a Caterpillar? Pushed out above this consolidation, came back, now testing at the bottom of the consolidation. We want to watch that. Here's a John Deere acting better than Caterpillar. How about the bigger stocks like Amazon, earnings related, popped up. All right, small little double top. But overall, this is in a big sloppy range if you look at the bigger picture. Right, if you go to like the, yeah, not that much of a range, but I mean it's not really going very far. It has big swings in between the 2 points there. Apple consolidating up at the highs. This suggests that if it can pop up, it could keep going. Here's the Facebook, big numbers, but look what happened. Right, it was a chance to sell. See, Facebook is a perfect example of why I think the Dow is not going to hold 20K. And there's nothing to, you can say, well, wait a minute, they're not correlated. Okay, great, but let's just pretend this is the Dow for a second, right? It had good news, it broke out, and then look at that. Nah, what are we, now we're going to buy it after it blew out earnings? We were expecting it to blow out earnings. Look at the run into it. Okay, and I don't want to hear about, oh, well, that's the election run. No, the election, after the election, while the market was running, Facebook was consolidating. It started breaking out at the beginning of the year. All right, and then it ran in, and then there's the climax here. So with the Dow, well, what does that have to do with the Dow? Well, the Dow, everybody's expected 20K. Boom, it hits 20K. Now, all of a sudden, it's going to start going. Now, of course, we haven't seen this type of candle here, and we don't know, maybe Facebook consolidates and then keeps going, but you really have to pay attention to buy the rumor, sell the news, or sell the rumor, buy the news, because they are very, very powerful trends. I know they get swept up because everybody talks about them all the time, and oh, that's a common trend. Yeah, well, it's a common trend, but it still works. All right, here's Netflix consolidating up here at the highs. So again, let me recap the market, then I'll go into the rest. I do not think the Dow holds this 20K. However, I want to see failure. I'm not going to start shorting into strength. That's absolutely ridiculous. The trend is still higher. If this does start another leg, yes, the SPY could see that 250 number, which a lot of people are talking about. The Russell is lagging, but this does look like a bull flag. And the NASDAQ consolidating up at the highs. Mid-caps also doing better than the Russell up here. All right, so let's do updates first. I have a bunch of stocks I have talked about. Look at this, I have 2 of these. Don't need 2 of them. Okay. So, United Healthcare consolidating right under this bigger consolidation here. So, let's see if it can release, get going. Private Bancorp. Okay, this broke out, pulled back, but still looks like it may want to go higher. This needs the banking index to break to get some wind at its back. Here's Prudential, also consolidating here. Right, came out of this little flag. Did come up to test the highs, but couldn't go above that. Here's Grand Canyon Education, not really doing much. DeVry was a nice one. It popped. It pulled back. But now it wants to decide what it wants to do. Look at this big candle on Friday. Did hold the 50-day moving average. Cormark holding. Okay. Steady move to the downside here. Never broke out. Instead went the other way. See if it could test these lows. Could be a nice short here, but probably need a bear flag first. And then Keko Environment, yeah, couldn't get going either. Now consolidating under previous support. So 2 stocks to watch this. The first one is Connect One Bancorp. Okay, CNOB is the symbol. Consolidating right here. Nice push up. Nice pullback here. Now it's consolidating. Let's see if it can break out. Had earnings already. And if the banking index breaks, watch this one. Okay, it's a regional bank. It's not a huge, big volatility mover. It's as you saw this move here, but usually it's slow and steady. So watch this one if it breaks. And if the banks break, if the market continues to go up, this is definitely one that I am going to be watching. See if it could make it to 30. Of course, first target is always where the previous highs were, up here in the mid-26s. And then you got Activity Brands. All right, it's technology. You can see this one is consolidating right between the 78.6 and the 61.8% retracements of this swing. So if this were to break and this 78.6 breaks, look for a full retracement down here to 170. It's on the expensive side. It's over $200, but it's one to definitely watch and see if you could take it with an option trade or something like that. All right. Any questions? As always, tiny@attackthemarkets.com. Now, the Super Bowl pick. Here it is. I believe. Remember, 8 in a row wrong. Now I'm going to turn the tide here. I think New England wins, and I think New England covers. I believe the line is 3. I'm not betting it, so I have no idea. I think New England wins. Now, I know there's a lot of New England haters out there, but the reason I think the Patriots win is I think that Brady is on a mission to have Goodell hand him the MVP, or at least the Super Bowl trophy, after the whole suspension and Deflategate drama. I do think he's the greatest QB of all time. For a while, I was fighting it, but year after year, I mean, the 28-2 touchdowns to interception ratio, whatever it is, that broke the record. I mean, just absolutely incredible. I think that Belichick will come up with a plan to stop Atlanta's high-power offense. I think Brady is going to get his 5th Super Bowl victory. And I think that's going to cement him in as the greatest of all time. So I don't think it's going to be a blowout game. I think it's going to be tighter than everybody thinks. That's the way Belichick usually likes to play them anyway. And, yeah, there are definitely some holes in the New England team, especially not having a big-time Pro Bowl receiver. Of course, not having Gronkowski. But still got Edelman, still got Amendola, still got the new guys. I just think that they win. I think they come up with a way to win. I think that Matt Ryan is deserving of the MVP. So it's good he got it. And Julio Jones, awesome. And they're picking up their running game. And, yeah, the defense is great. I just think the Patriots, they get it. I think they overcome the high-powered offense of Atlanta. And I think they're going to win. Of course, I expect you to give me as much crap as possible if they lose or even if they don't, because there's a lot of New England haters out there. And anyway, to me, I'm putting it all on Belichick and Brady. But I think it's a mistake to really minimize the effect of the other players on New England, too, because there's a lot of great players there as well. All right. Anyway, tiny@attackthemarkets.com for Super Bowl commentary or preferably market commentary, but whatever you feel like giving me. Talk to you in next week's video, or if you join the list, I will talk to you in the daily email.